Our people from across the nation are gathering in Washington, D.C. to celebrate the 49th annual March for Life. This Friday, marchers peacefully advocate for the right to life while marching from the National Mall to the steps of the Supreme Court. The March for Life is the largest human rights demonstration in the world. And joining me now is Jeanne Mancini, president of the March for Life. Jeanne, great to see you. Always great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's always great to be with you, Tracy.
Well, first off, let's talk a little bit more about the march.
Absolutely. So our theme this year is Equality Begins in the Womb. There have been so many conversations around equality, equity, whether it's racial tensions or the COVID-19 pandemic or what have you. And we wanted to insert into that conversation the humanity of the unborn child and how that little person also deserves equal rights. So we've got a great lineup of speakers, and they all sort of embody the theme, I would say, differently. So very excited about that.
Absolutely. And a little different from last year, too.
Absolutely. Last year was a little bit different for a host of reasons. So we had pro-life leaders marching symbolically, carrying the other marchers on their shoulders, but just delighted to get so many back again this year for the march.
What are you most excited about this year?
I can't wait to see the young people. I really, really missed seeing them last year, and there's nothing like getting up on the stage and looking out at the vast crowd. You can't even see the end of it, and just sensing their enthusiasm. So I would say that's always a highlight.
Yeah, and how many people are you expecting this year? Because as we mentioned, last year was different, of course, because of COVID restrictions.
So we know just from gauging a few different things, whether it's bus permits or WMATA, the DC Metro system, and some of the major events around us, that we typically have well over 100,000 each year. So we can gather those numbers afterwards and give a little bit of an estimate. I think because of the excitement around Dobbs, it's possible that we'll have even more this year. At the same time, COVID, some people are staying back, and they should. If they're having any symptoms, they shouldn't come to the march. But I think we could have a very big crowd, and excited for that.
Yeah, and it's really a testament, to what you all are doing. Despite it's in January, the weather, and still some COVID restrictions, people are still coming out in droves to support life.
Yeah, you know what? There's no sacrifice that's too great for the unborn child. And those who are marching, I mean, we marched together, and here we've marched 49 years through blizzards, through government shutdowns, I mean, in pandemics, et cetera. And it's really what's so attractive is it's this human rights abuse issue that we want to bring an end to. So I think that's what really gets people out, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. And you know what? I want to talk about that. I mean, this could possibly be the last March for Life.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. Certainly, we hope that Roe is positively, changed this year. That Roe's overturned, and we don't know if that will happen. But we've had the state march program that we've been working on for the last 6 years, and it's all the more necessary now. So even in a COVID environment, we've been able to grow that a little bit. But we've got all sorts of plans for rapid expansion into the states, because of course, if Roe is overturned, it's not that abortion is made illegal. It's just that the question of abortion legislation goes back to the states. So please God that this is a historic year, but then we'll need to keep working to build a culture of life. It won't be done, but it would be a massive, massive transition if we can overturn Roe. So praying and fasting for that victory.
Absolutely, we are. Absolutely. And the fight goes on. I want to go back to the speakers, because I know that you have such a great lineup of people, and really those who may not know, could you share that with us?
Sure. Okay, so check us out at marchforlife.org. I'll just mention a few here, but some that I'm most excited about. Well, Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains.
Of course, we know him.
Kurt's giving his testimony. Lisa Robertson, another entertainment person from Duck Dynasty, is going to share her testimony. So anybody that comes to the March for Life knows that many women have been impacted by abortion, and that there's always hope and healing if someone is impacted. And so Lisa's going to share her story of finding hope and healing. Father Michael Schmitz, the wonderful host of Bible in a Year podcast, the most popular podcast in the world, and just very popular and wonderful priest. Katie Shaw, I think I'm maybe more excited about Katie than anyone. Katie is a Down syndrome advocate. She herself has Down syndrome, and I think she will beautifully embody the theme. We have a very new person to the lineup, not yet been announced, Michaela, who is a young woman who's been served by a Mary shelter in Fredericksburg, and she'll be taking the place of someone else who had a cornea issue. We were going to share her testimony, but Michaela is just a beautiful woman, and I'm excited to introduce her to the crowd. We've got a student from Christendom, George, and many more. So check us out at marchforlife.org.
Yeah, it's going to be so exciting. We're almost out of time, but quickly, we have probably 10 seconds left or so. Anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
Just to ask them to pray and fast. This is a spiritual battle. Pray, fast. It's the single most important thing.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And Jeanne, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Well,
I know this is a busy week for you.
I'm so happy to be here. I love EWTN and I love you, Tracy, so thank you.
Well, we love you, Jeanne. Thank you so much, and we can't wait till Friday.
Yeah,
Thanks for
likewise.
coming on.